Sorry, your screen. Can you put your screen up? When assigning the okay, you want to change the values as you remove the percentage, for example, for the whole you say we should strip the person. No, where is it again?
I use strip.
Okay, why don't we use the 0 as in starting from row 1 all the way to the end, like 0 to
Okay, wait, if I'm getting you right, you mean like as I did for one, I should do the same thing
yes.
for, where did I even work on
No, as
this?
in yeah, as in why not just say 0 0 like in here in this one, just say the square bracket 0 colon to so you know that okay it's for all the rows.
Okay, wait, I'm trying to understand your
Instead
question.
of
So
lambda.
for instance,
Instead of using the lambda.
okay, I should probably specify each of the row index like 0, 1, 2 till the end. Is that what you're asking?
Instead of using the lambda to strip for everything,
Mm-hmm.
to apply for everything, as in why not use 0 um for all since it's for all the rows, why not use 0 from row 0, that's row 1 all the way to the end using
Okay,
the
okay. Okay, I
index.
understand. I understand your question. So, the thing is, we are trying to we are not I know we are trying to like eliminate those percents for all the rows, right? Now, like I said, this is not the only way we can do that. This is not the only way we can do that. And mind you too, we can't do probably be using zero, like we can't just repeat the same thing all over again, if I'm getting your question right. Like for zero, do for one, do for two. So we just need to, another way we can actually do it is to use a for loop. To use a for loop, we can actually achieve that. Let's see. Let me just show you another way, maybe to help answer your question. So let's say for x in, let's see, for x in, okay, I've actually eliminated. Okay, let's work with firm price.
I'm asking in terms of like for in SQL, we can just use the number, the index,
Mm.
all the row index instead of just going through the steps of like I'm not talking about for loop. I'm just saying in place of why not? Is it possible to use that? Not that we're listing it out one by one. Just saying that from row 1 all the way to the end using index, using the index
Okay.
code instead as in
Okay.
0
Okay.
to
Okay. So let me just say this is like me telling it to work with the index number, the whole value zero to the end. This is just like a Python language of telling this is just like a function telling Python to work from the first index to the second index. I don't know whether you follow. So it's different for SQL and it's actually different here. So here is actually saying what you are trying to say. Work with the first index from 0. You must not necessarily see the value like the numbers or the square bracket. Lambda has actually taken care of that. So like I said, what this lambda is doing is this x here represents each of the values starting from the first one, which is at index 0, down to the last one. That's what this x is representing, each of these values. So I'm saying for each of these values, starting from 0 to the end, strip it, remove this percent. So that's what.
I understand. I
Okay.
understand. I was just asking
There
if
is.
there's anything wrong with using that index style. I'm just asking. It's
No,
just a
no, no,
question,
no.
not as if.
No, 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 no. There is.
So can we use that index also in Python, or it's not allowed?
If we can use the index in Python.
Yes, as in place of using lambda or using the for loop. Is it
Okay,
possible
so
to do that
see,
also, or it
the
doesn't
thing is,
work that way?
okay.
Like
Hold on.
iLock. You understand? Like
Okay,
iLock,
I
using the
understand
iLock.
you. I understand you now. I understand you now. Understand? The thing is, yeah, this for loop is inevitable in that aspect. For loop, you're going to use a for loop with the, because if you're, this is what you're trying to say. You're trying to say I should do something like this. All df. You're trying to say I should do something like this. All df. Let's say let's just assume the service percent was not removed. So you're saying I should do something like this, starting from index 0 to the end. So this is actually
Now I'm
this.
asking, it doesn't work.
Yeah, sure, it works, it works, it works. So you can actually use this inside the lambda instead of having this actually you will not actually use this app dot apply again. What you actually use is you just after you've gotten it out like this, and right, let's just assume the percent was still here. You now have to use a for loop to go through each of them, to loop over it, and then do the stripping. So it's the same thing. Hope you understand.
I guess.
Okay. Does anyone have any other question before I proceed? Okay. No other question. So I'll move on to removing this and this before going to changing the data type. Okay. So it's the same format. So you just need to, if you can get one of these using the index 0, then strip it with the, let's do it, let's not just say it, so that we'll see how it works. So this time around is firm price. But using that, there's possibility of using it, but then that is like more like a long cut. You understand how to apply a function to, it must not necessarily be a lambda. Yes, the apply is just to apply a function. So here is just my own function. So you can come up with a function that goes through this and remove percent, bring in the function name inside here. It will apply that function to the whole of the values inside this. So like I said, it's not just lambda. There are other possible ways of doing it. Okay, so if I bring this, I'm getting this. So we want to eliminate this value. So we just strip it, dot strip. What are we removing? We are removing a backward slash n. So that's it. So we just need to do this now for the whole values in that particular column. So we say all firm price is equals to, okay, let me not just apply it, say apply x dot x dot strip. What are we stripping? We're stripping a backward slash and n. So we no more have those backward slash n. Now you might decide to go ahead. Actually, why I didn't want to deal too much on this is our aim in this project is just to scrape out data. But then if you want to do in depth, maybe work with this salary range, you may want to separate it like we did. Maybe something you can just practice on your own. But then we don't want to do too much. We've actually achieved our aim. What we are doing is we are just trying to clean the data a bit. Okay, so it has removed this. I need to assign this now, these new values to that same column. Okay. So So you've seen that the backward slash n is no more here. So it's a little bit tidy. So let's remove that for fem location, the last one. So it's the same pattern. So I'll just copy this and place, let me make it in a new cell. So I'll just change the fem price to fem location. Okay, so if I run this and then check it, okay, so you see that it has been removed. All right, so we've successfully cleaned the data. Okay. Any question? Any question? Okay. All right, so this data is tidy. Now you let's save it as a CSV file. Maybe you want to send it to probably, okay, maybe your boss asks you to go and get this data from the website, and after you've collected it, put it in a data frame, you tidy it up a bit or according to the requirements. Then once you are done, he may ask you to send it maybe CSV or an Excel file. So let's use the CSV we all know. So if you want to save this pandas data frame now as a CSV file.
Let me sorry.
Yeah.
Can we remove the greater than sign that's in front of the first
Yes, you can. But
first price?
yes, you can. You can do that. It's just the same stripping. You can do that. But then I didn't remove it because
All right.
that's the value for that particular company. Okay, so I want to save this data frame now, this tidy data frame now as a CSV file. So we use the saving method of data frame. So we say all df to CSV. So what it takes is the file path. You want it to save in your current working directory. You just specify the name. So let's just say clean extraction. So don't just write just the name. You need to bring in the file extension .csv. Okay, run this. So we should have our Excel file here. Here it is. Sorry, our CSV file. So here's the CSV of CSV file for that pandas data frame we just saw. So someone can work with it, import it, and work with it. Okay. So then I usually set the index to false. Now, what do I mean by that? For those that are not aware, let's assume I want to bring in that data frame. You see that actually there are two ways to go about it. Either you set the index here to false, or you do it on the other side. So let's just look at it. So here it is. So here's the index I was talking about. So you can actually set index column to 0 and this will go away. Or had it been you set it here, let's say index equals to false, then you save it and then run this again, that issue of unnamed column would go away. So that's one way of doing it. But you have your unnamed column, you just need to set the index column here, the parameter, one of the parameters is index column. Let's see. Yeah, this one. You just need to set it to 0. So that index and the unnamed this one will go away. Alright, so let me remove this. Okay, so the next thing now we are going to do is before we do the exploration, we want to change some data type. So let's look at our data type. Let's look at data type for each of the columns. Say ODF dot info. Or we can use the dot data type. I don't think this is callable. Bring out error now. I know you're not callable. Okay. Okay. So here it is. So they are all strings. They are all string. So we are going to change some of them to integer. So we'll change the star rating to float, firm reviews to integer, then this both of these also to integer. These are the ones we'll just do. Okay. So how do we change data type? So for start with the star rating.
Sorry, before you continue, I wanted to ask, how do you? I tried whenever using the Jupyter notebook,
Okay.
put a title or heading, like changing data type as you put here. It always gives me an error. Why?
This is a markdown. This I think you are writing on a code cell.
Oh,
Like
okay. I need
this.
to use a markdown for it.
Yes, this is a markdown. This is not a code cell. So in your Jupyter
Okay.
notebook, you've seen it before now, right? Like
Yeah.
the markdown, yeah. You use markdown in writing.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright. So we'll start with the star rating. So we are applying a data type. Change it to float. Okay. So we'll just assign that to all the then let's change everything at once. Let's change the review. Firm ref. Change it to integer. Then let's change the service percent. Okay. So we'll do that and let's look at the data type once more. Okay, so we've done the changing. So now we can now work with this. So the next thing we'll do is our already have imported Plotly. So I have some exploration I would love us to look at, just few. Actually, there's not much to do here with what we have, but then let's just look at a few. So we'll look at companies that have a 5-star rating. Now, there are a lot of companies that have 5-star rating actually. So in order to know which one is are the top ones, we'll compare them based on the service percent and the platform percent. Okay. Well, then let's look at distribution. In EDA, they usually advise we start with a univariate plot, looking at univariate analysis, then go into bivariate before multivariate. But then we won't touch those ones here, but I'll start with a univariate plot, which is a histogram. One of them is a histogram rather. So let's plot. PX is actually my Plotly Express, so don't get confused.
Sorry, quick question. I left service for a bit, so I'm not sure what we're doing right now. What are we
Sorry.
doing now? So I
Okay.
lost service for a bit, so I'm
Okay.
not sure what we're doing right now.
We want to do some exploratory data analysis on the data set we extracted.
Okay, okay.
So we want to
Not
look at.
supposed to be PLT. Why is it PX instead of PLT?
Okay, like I said earlier, I'm using Plotly. I'm not using Matplotlib. I'm using Plotly in this project. We've heard of Plotly. It's an interactive visualization package in Python. So that's what I'm actually using. So we want to look at the distribution of star rating. So it's the same pattern, just like Matplotlib taking data frame, the X and Y column. It's very very similar to Plotly. So yeah, there is no much.
If I use Matplotlib in place of this on my own
Yeah, you just
digital
need
notebook,
to.
will it work?
If you use Matplotlib on your end, it will work, but you mustn't use exactly what I have here. You just need to follow Matplotlib syntax.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have to import it also since I've not imported it before.
Yeah. You need to import it on your own end. Here I'm actually using Plotly, which okay. Let me not try to be one-sided, but then if you can use Plotly, it will like Plotly is actually interactive, right? And then also, if you are working with all these, maybe you are trying to build a dashboard using using Dash. You must have heard of Dash. So it's mostly compatible with Plotly. And then you usually see online, probably on a website, all those interactive dashboard. Something you can, like Power BI now, you can interact with it and the rest of them. So Plotly renders some of those features. It's not just static as Matplotlib would be, which we actually see it as we are working with it. So if you can learn Plotly too, it will also to make your visualization make sense and have some more features to work with. Okay, so we are trying to look at the distribution of star rating. So it's just as simple as importing your plotly.express. As I imported it as px, then it has a histogram, just like Matplotlib have a hist, or Pandas has a hist too. Then here is the data frame I want to work with. Then here is me specifying the the um, x axis. Yeah. So if I run this, 2 times. Okay, so here it is. So here's our distribution. You can see that most of the companies have above 100, more than 100 companies have a 5-star rating. Then 24 companies based on our current data. Remember, here I'm working with a three data frame, 3 pages that I scraped. Your own could be one or two or any amount. So this value will vary depending on how many data you scrape, and also I'll say depending on the current data frame you're working with, right? So here's the result. So we see that 24 of the company has star rating of 0. Then more than 100 have a star rating between 4.8 to 5.2. Then we don't even have anyone that have a star rating of 2. Then we have less than 5 companies that have a star rating of 1, 3, and 4. So here's the distribution. So what I'll do is I'll just resize the width of this to make it a little bit smaller. Then I'll give it a name. So I'll specify the width to, let's say, 500. Then I'll give it a title. We're not going to do much. This is just a simple exploration. When we get to other projects that we need a visualization to stand out, we'll see more. So let's just call this star rating distribution. Okay. While it's running. Okay, so it's a little bit moderate. Okay, so we've seen the star rating distribution. We've seen that we have over 100 companies that has above 5-star rating. So let me just add a little comment. What other stuff can we draw out? Okay, we can say that 24 firms, based on our current data, has a rating. That's a rating below 1. Okay. Then we can say less than 5 firms has a rating between 1 to 4. Yeah. Okay, so that's just a little conclusion from that diagram. So now let's look at another distribution. Let's look at the distribution of reviews. So this is px.histogram, our data frame. Then the x column, the column we're looking at is firm ref. Okay. Let's just set the width one time. Let's set the title. Okay. So if we run this, okay, we see the distribution of that. So we can see that 52 firms based on our current data has a review between 0 to 1, and it's skewed rightly skewed, so we have very few that has a review above 10. So we have Okay, we have two firms that have a review between 32 and 33. So there are only few firms that has reviews above, let's use above 20. Most of the firms actually don't have a review. Some is just 1, 2, 3. So let's just bring in some conclusion. So yeah, I'll just say from the distribution above, more than 50 firms has a review between 0 to 1. Okay, you can actually draw out more. So now let's look at like I said earlier, most of them have 5-star rating, as we saw earlier in the distribution. But then we want to get the top firm based on 5-star rating and higher higher review. So first of all, we are going to sort our data. What I'm trying to bring out now is I want to bring out the top companies that has higher star rating. Now I notice that most of them are 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So it will be difficult to rank them. So I decided to attach the review to it to filter it based on the star rating and the review, right? And then okay, so what I'll do now is I'm going to sort the columns based on those two columns I want to work with. I'll do the sorting before plotting. So I'll say all df
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. When you use all DF, because when I came in, you had already started. All DF, does that mean all the data frames with like your page 1, page 2, page 3?
yes, actually combine it and gave it the name all df.
Oh, okay. I'll miss that part.
Okay. All right. So let's look at it first. Oh, sorry, that's a markdown. Okay. Let's look at it first. So here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get companies that have higher star rating and higher firm reviews. So I'm going to sort this in descending order and this also in descending order. So I'll say sort values. Okay. What am I sorting by? I'm sorting by a 2 column. So I'll use my actually the first parameter, yeah, is taking the column you want to sort by. So I'll say sort by equals to, since I'm using 2 columns, I'll bring in my list. Let me remove this. So sort first by star rating. The order of your arrangement matters. So first of all, sort by the star rating, then followed by the firm reviews. Okay. Let's see. So we started from the smallest, so we're going to set our ascending. Sorry. We're going to set our ascending to false. Okay, that should do the trick. Okay, so it's going to start from smallest bigger to the smallest, descending order, right? So we want the first 5 companies, so we just use our list to get the first 5. All right. So here are the first top 5 companies that have the highest star rating, which is obviously 5. Then the firm reviews. So we see that Solo Lab came first based on the firm reviews, followed by S Pro and the other ones. So let's just put this in the chart. So we're going to use a bar chart. So I'll say bx dot bar. So the data frame is all so it's the same pattern, but here now we need to specify our x and y axis, right? Yeah. So the names should be under. Let's do firm names. Firm name. That's the x-axis. Then our y-axis, we want to see the star rate. We can actually look at the star rating, but then they'll have the same height. So let's look at the star rating and the firm reviews at once. Star rating. And firm reviews. We want to look at those 2 columns on the y-axis. Okay. Sorry. No, it's not what I want. So I'll assign this 5, this small data frame now to a variable. Let me call it top 5 star review. Okay, that should do the trick. It's actually working with the whole data frame, but we just want to work with the 5 we saw earlier. So I've saved that short one to a variable called top 5. So this should give us something different. So here it is. So the blue represents the star rating, while the orange represents the reviews. So let me just adjust this. Okay, because of the names, let's leave it as 700. Let's set the title at once. So the title should be let's say top 5 firms best star rating and reviews. Okay, that should do the trick. Okay, so you can draw your conclusion. We have Solo Lab as the first company. Okay, so we've seen it. So the next thing we are going to just briefly look at is we are going to still look at the another top 5 company, but this time around we're going to look at, since I'm actually working with the ratings. Now you can actually decide to look at this data frame in a different aspect, right? But this is just me looking at it from my own, me doing my own analysis. You can actually work on your own. So now what I want to look at now is another top 5 companies. And since they're having the same star rating again, I'm going to use service percent this time around to look at the companies that actually have a 5-star rating, and then their service percent are actually higher. So it's the same thing. I'll just need to sort this time around. I need to sort star rating descending order, then service percent in descending order. So we say all df dot sort values. Sort by what? Sort first of all by the star rating. Then after that, sort by the service percent. want it in descending order. Okay, so once you've done that, get me the first 5. So here they are. So DataPine, SetuServe are the companies that have a 5-star rating and then have higher service percent. So I'll just save this to a variable. So I save it as top 5-star service percent. Okay. So let's plot it. So we say px.bar. First thing is your data frame. My data frame this time around is top 5 star rating serve. What should be on the x axis should be the names. So we have firm name. Then on the y axis I want to first of all show me the star rating, then show me their service percent. Okay, let's set the width to 700 and let's give it a title at once. So we say top 5 firms based on star rating. Sorry, it's as if I'm writing a very star rating and service percent. Okay. Actually, if it's looking too long, you can actually cut it short. Okay, so here they are. DataPine, SetuServe, Digis 47 billion, and DataForest. Sorry, here are the top 5 companies that have, obviously they have the same. Now, the not necessarily you must put, let's take this out. Let's just look at their service percent. So we just need only one to be on the y-axis. Okay. Let's just look at the service percent. Since they have the same star rating, so no need to look at it. So here it is. So here is 90, here is 50, 50, 40, 30. So these are the top 5 companies that have 5-star rating and then have higher percentage value. So you can actually do other stuff. So lastly, what I'm going to do now is just to, my last exploration is going to be, okay, I want to use the data frame to explain something. Okay, so you notice that some companies are in more than one location, right? So what I want to do now is, I want to count how many companies or look at the distributions of company in each location. So you have United States. I want to count how many United States, yeah, something like that, that are here. In other words, how many companies are in the United States? How many companies are in India? I want to look at the location with the highest firms based on our data we have here. That's what I want to do next. So it's a little bit, it's a long ride. So first of all, what I need to do is, we are going to split this and then perform a value count for each of them. Okay, so what do we do? Let's do as we usually do. Let's work with one first. Now looking at the firm location. Let's work with one. So this will bring out the first one. So obviously all of them are like this. Now pay attention, although we'll see it. There's a space here. That's why there's a space here. We'll actually see it more when we get down. Okay, so this is India and United States. So what I will doing is I'm going to be splitting for each of these firm locations because obviously they are all separated. Looking at them, they are all separated with a comma and a space. So I'm going to split it with a comma and space for each of them. So I'll do something like dot split. I'm not splitting by ordinary space this time around. I'm splitting with a comma and a space. So this is what it will bring out. So what I will now then do is, this is how it's going to be for each of them. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to like, for each of, let me work with more than one. Let's look at three of them actually. Oh, it's not going to work because it's a list. It's not going to work because it's a list. Sorry about that. Don't do now. Okay, it's taking time because I'm actually online and sharing my screen. So let's just wait for it. Okay, so let me just explain it one. When I'm doing for all of them, I'll explain more. So it's going to, this is what we are going to have a list, right, for each of the values here after splitting. We're going to have list of United States and Germany, list of United States and India, United States and Australia for all of them. So what I will now then do after that is I'm going to join those lists together, append it, join it together. Then after joining together, I will now then do some cleaning. So let's not talk much. Um, let's do it. So let's df, let me do it above so that every other stuff will be below. So all df firm location dot apply lambda x. So x, what are we doing? Splits. Split by a comma and a space. Where are you? Okay, let's run this. So here's what I was trying to explain. So just assign this, let's call this the split. Let's look at the first five. So this is what the split is doing. Sorry, this is what this one has done. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to join this list, all of them together. Remember, our aim is to count how many firms are in United States, and we need to gather them together to do the count. So I'm going to use a for loop. So I'll say for x in split. That's for each of the values in split. What should you do? I want you to, okay, let me create a list, an empty list first. Okay, so what should you do? I want you to append to this list, join it. Which method? Okay, we're going to add. We can add two lists together. Okay, so let's run this and see what is happening. Okay, so see, we have just one list. I've added everything. You can add two lists together. So that's what I just did. So for each of the lists, I just add it to this empty list. So it becomes one big list with all the names. Now, if you pay attention, we are having United States like of two different types. Here there is a space. Here there is no space. Actually, how you even see it more evidently, let's do something like let's turn this to a series. Okay, let me leave this here. Let's turn the list to a series. Then perform a value count. So if I do pd.series, pass in our list, we have something like this, right? So now let's perform a value count. that I'll show you that stuff I was trying to show earlier, which was not looking out. Okay, so here it is. So here are the value counts. We can see that we have two United States. Now, if you look at it here, you might not actually. You obviously it's there's something wrong. Like they are not the same, obviously, and here you may not know unless you look at it this at the early stage. So here there is a space while here there is no space. So in one of these United States there is a space. Same thing for India. So my point is we have repeated location. So we need to deal with that. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through all the items in this list, and I'm going to strip it of any space it has at the end. Right. So I'll do something like this for X in list. Okay, I need to bring in a new list. So I'll say new list for X in list. New, let's strip. So like I said, dot strip default is going to strip by space. It's going to remove space whether at the beginning or at the end of your text. So let's look at this. Okay. So we no more have the United States with space or any other ones that have space. So all of them are just text without any space at the beginning and at the end. So if I do something, let's just look at the first five. Okay. So this time if I should run this but with our new list, we're no more going to have duplicates of duplicate locations. So we just have one United States, one India, United Kingdom, and the rest of them. Alright. So tidy that up. We'll just give this a new.
Why did you use a paragraph for the strip instead of space and paragraph?
Why did I use
In
a
the strip, append x dot strip.
uh
What you put in the brackets. I
no
mean, you put a bracket, but you didn't put the space that was there before the bracket.
no. I actually didn't put anything inside the bracket. It's empty. It's empty. There's nothing inside. Look at
Okay,
it.
the other bracket is for
Yeah,
what?
the other
Okay,
one I put something. Look at this one. There's
okay,
something
sorry,
inside.
sorry.
Yeah. So default, without specifying anything like here, it will split by space. Sorry, if you don't specify anything inside this bracket, the default is a space. It will strip, remove spaces at the beginning and the end of a text, a string. You understand? To remove space at the beginning and the end.
Yes.
But if something else you want to remove, you need to specify it. Okay, so I was going to assign this, give this, assign it to a variable. Let's call that variable locations. Okay. All right. So my aim was to visualize which companies have, which location has more company. So let's look at locations again. Let's see if it is arranged. Okay, I think it's arranged in descending order. Okay, so let's just go ahead and plot. So we're going to pass in our data frame as usual. Okay, sorry, this is a series, it's not a data frame, and I won't want to convert it to a data frame before plotting. So it's a series, it's just hold on, let's look at it. Let's look at the first five. So mind you, this is not a data frame, this is actually a series. So come up now and right. Okay. So here I'm working with a series. That means I'm not specifying the data frame. I'll just go on to specifying using the keyword way of using keyword parameters, right? The key and the argument. So x equals to the index, this index, right? So or say locations dot index. Sorry, yeah, this will not be in a string because I'm working with a variable. Then my y is going to be the values. In this series, this is the index and these are the values. Okay. Now, this is what I want, but let's present it well. So let's make the names be on the y-axis and the values be on the x-axis so that the name, we can easily read the names. So I'll just change this to y and I'll change this to x and do this. What is happening? Okay, the larger ones are down. So this descending order is deceiving. It's actually not what is being plotted. So let's do this. Let's make it in descending order. Let's be sure of it. So equals to true. Okay, yeah. So it's tricky. Here it's descending order, but it started plotting in ascending order. So what I'm doing is I'm just changing it to be in ascending order so that here it will start in descending order. So that's better. So this here it is. We see that actually most of the firms based on the data we scraped are in the United States. The second one is India. So India is not showing. So I just need to resize my plot. So just like we saw for width, we have it for height. So let's set our width to, let's say, the names are actually much. Well, let's just leave. Look, let me set it to 900. Let's set the height to something like 800. Let's set the title at once. So I'll call this location frequency or country frequency. That one is a little bit better. How frequently they occur in our data, then I think we are good to go. Okay, so I'll just do a little bit editing here. I'm going to change because we are not working with the data frame. That's why we don't have. I want to show you the previous plot. We don't have the column names here. So I'm just going to rename just for this. So how do we rename? We say labels equals to bring in your dictionary. Change my y to okay. We don't even need the y. Let's just leave it empty. Obviously, someone looking at it will know that it's a location. That's one thing about visualization too. So already here, anyone saying needs to know that these are countries. Even a small kid will know that these are countries. So no need for you to come and be writing country here. It's actually part of making your visualization clean. So let's change the x to frequency or count. Let's leave it at frequency. Alright, so let's run this and let's see how our chat will appear this time around. Alright, so it's more better. Okay, So here now we can see our India has come out. Actually, it wasn't showing because the height of the chart was small. So I just increase the height for it to show. Then reshape it. So here it is. We can see that most of the firms are in United States, followed by India and Ukraine. So you can draw your conclusions or you can draw insights from here, something like that, depending on your task given. So I'm happy to say that we've arrived at the end of this. So we're just going to summarize. Let's just do a summary before I take questions. So first, okay. Summary is just we've successfully scraped the data from the website. Then we were able to use Beautiful Soup to locate and extract our details. Then the extracted details was converted to a data frame. Then we did some cleaning, changed data type, and then we explored the data a bit, right? So that's just the summary I can come up with. But before I send the notebook to the drive, I'll just put in some stuff here. Okay, so we've officially finished this project. So we've successfully scraped data, clean it, and look at it a little, plot a um, tree chart, a column chart, a bar chart, and a histogram. Okay, so that's it for this project. Any question? Question time.
I'm back again. I have two questions. The first one, why do you write your code upwards?
Okay, so the thing is, I'm trying to make the notebook clean, right? So since what I wrote initially is just like me showing a tip of what I want to do. So for me to do the full work, I'll just take it up so that anything chunks of will be below so that I can easily delete it. My point, I'm just trying to make my notebook clean so that I won't come and be going out through the stress of cleaning it all over again.
Okay, so when you were cleaning the a particular column that you first cleaned the first row, that was just you preparing it before you now did the full
Yes,
row or
yes.
what? Are you going to later delete that first row you did, or you still leave it there?
Okay, so now this is a project. It's not you are not just in as much as you're having fun, even if it's a project you are doing to have fun, you would want it to be clean, right? So the mind you, this is if like obviously this is not actually how it's going to be if you are sending it to your GitHub or you want to present it. All this stuff are not needed. So you just need to clean it up a bit and make it look neat. And yeah, so you just need to tidy up the project. It's a project. It's not just even if it's a task, you just need to tidy it up. So that is very, very, very
Do you
important.
understand? I'm trying to understand why you write upwards, because you first cleaned one row, then when you wanted to clean everything, you wrote it up. The
Okay.
cell you used was upwards instead of like the downwards. That's what I'm just asking.
It's still what yeah, I'm just trying to make my notebook tidy. Like for instance, those splits is just part of what I want. For instance, now this one, for instance, this one now, I might have run it on a different cell. Then to bring it all together here, I wrote it up, right? That's what you're asking now. Why am I taking it up? Like,
Instead of down.
yeah, I understand you. So I'm trying to say, I'm just making my notebook tidy at once. So this split, which I usually do at first, is just part of what I want to do. It's just me showing you part of what I want to do. So once I've shown you that, okay, this is what is happening inside here, then I will then bring it in. Then it's going to be up because even if it's not up, even if I write it down, that one I was using to show you, like all these ones now, I used to explain this stuff. If I'm sending this to GitHub now, I will delete this. I will delete this. So it's me making the notebook tidy. I'm just taking it up because what I just showed you is not it's just part of what is above. So I'll end up deleting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then my second question is a request. Sorry, for those of us that came in 10 minutes late. The how did you join? Can you show how you joined the two tables, like page one and page two?
Okay. So I think I need to do a recap before these questions again. So let me just do a recap. Maybe I'll answer some questions that may likely come in. Okay, so we started last week and started by importing the libraries. Now, okay, let me explain something here. Most of you might be asking why, what is this stuff doing? Okay, so there's something about Plotly. You saw that it's interactive. So if you send it to GitHub, if you are viewing the notebook using GitHub rendering interface, I'll show you that in the second session. Your chart is not going to be visible. But if you use Matplotlib Seaborn, it will be visible if you are viewing the notebook from GitHub interface. But then, I usually after uploading my project to GitHub, I usually send it to Jupyter Notebook Viewer. There's what we call Jupyter Notebook Viewer. You can research and browse it out. So what Jupyter Notebook Viewer does is it renders the notebook and it has the ability of showing my Plotly chart. So what I did is after uploading it, I get that link after sending it, viewing it with Jupyter Notebook Viewer, get that link and add it to my README. We'll see all those ones in the second session. So this one is actually making it come visible in that Jupyter Notebook Viewer. That's what this code is doing. Okay, so we downloaded the HTML file for here. It's 3 pages, page 1, page 2, page 3. I actually comment it because already I've downloaded the pages here. So that's why I comment this, so that if I by chance click on run all, I won't have to be downloading it all over again. Or if probably my network is not on, I have the stuff already on my PC. So that's why I comment this. So we download the HTML file, we save it to our PC. Then we started by looking at the page 1. We use Beautiful Soup to locate the details we want to extract rather. Then we create a function to do the extraction for us. Instead of us writing multiple for loops all over again, we just come up with a function to handle that for us. So this extract details was able to extract for 7 of them. Then this progress value, as we recall, handled the percentage and service, the service and platform percent, which was double when we located the details. So we use this function and we extract our details. Then we put it in the data frame for the first page. So here is what we came up, what we ended up with after scraping the first page. So it's the same process for the second page. So what I did was I just combined everything up there into a single cell, opening it, locating the details, doing the extraction, putting it in the data frame. So this time around here is just page 2. So we have this data frame. Repeat the same thing for page 3. We have this data frame. Then someone asked about how we combine. So Pandas has a function concat that joins data frame together. So here we are appending the data frame, like stacking it one on top another. So we use a concat if it's to add maybe sideways, joining it together, you use the merge. Okay, so here is me joining those 3 data frames together. Now the ignore index is, you know that for each of the data frame they all have their own index value. So if this ignore index is not set, what it's going to do is for the first data frame inside here, you're going to have 0 to 51 because there are 51 of them. That's 52 actually. So you're going to have 0 to 52, 0 to 52, 0 to 52, and here is not going to be 152. It's just going to be another 0 to 52. So this ignore index is actually telling this it's actually saying ignore their default index, what they came with. Just start the index afresh, 0 down to the end. So that's what this ignore index is doing. Okay, so we went on to clean the data. So what we want to clean is, we notice that when we do the extraction, the star rating is where we have the firm reviews. So we separated the star ratings to its own column. Then the firm reviews 26, 8, 32, we also took it to its own column. Then for the service percent, we eliminate the percentage sign. Then we rename this to show whoever is looking at our data that these numbers, after removing it, they are not just ordinary numbers, they are actually in percentage. So we did that for service and platform. Then for firm, we removed this backward slash n that represents new line in an HTML file. You can also use it in, obviously we use it in Python too to denote a new line. So we removed it for firm price and for firm location. So that was what we did under data cleaning. So here was me showing how to do it for just one before applying it to the. Okay, someone asked why was I writing it above. You can see that this one, after doing it, it's below what I was explaining. So it doesn't matter if I write it up or down, I'll still need to delete this stuff because I was explaining. Yeah, so here it's below. All right, so here um, we did the data cleaning. We put the star rating into a new column. We put it at the index 3. We gave it a name, star rating. Then the values was actually this splitting, which I explained earlier. After removing the star rating and the reviews, I dropped that column. The service percent, I removed the percentage sign. Same thing for the platform. Then here is where I renamed the column names. I'll actually tidy this up before I send it to the drive today with some comments. Okay, so here is the firm price, me removing this backward slash n. Same thing for firm location. So here is our clean data. So we have our star rating on its own, firm review on its own. The service percent, we no more have the percentage here. Then we rename it to show whoever is looking at our work that this is 20%, not just 20. This is 15%. Here we don't have the backward slash n, and here we don't have it too. So we've cleaned the data. Here's how you can save it to a CSV file. It's probably maybe a task your boss gave to you. Go and get me so numbers of companies from this particular website. So you must have extracted it, do the cleaning, then you send it to your boss. So here we look at saving it as a CSV file. You can save it to any file of your choice. So we have I also want to show you other types. So we have the come up CSV, dictionary, Excel. There are much of them. Anyone you want, Pickle, SQL, data strings, and the rest of them. Alright, so we just save it to a CSV file. This index is actually me saving this data frame now without this index value. So it's just saving it from here downward. So here it is. So here is our CSV file. You can actually send this to someone to work with, whatever you want to do with it. Maybe you can take it to Power BI and yeah, do your visualization there if that's what you want to. All right, so this is how you save it. So the next thing we did was change the data types because we plan on doing some EDA. So all of them are in strings. So we changed 4 of them. We changed the star rating to float, change the firm reviews to integer, change the service percent to integer, then another service, this other platform percent to integer, just those 4. Then we look at it again, we observe that there are changes. Then we went on to do the exploratory data analysis. We first of all look at a univariate plot, which is an histogram. One of them is a histogram, rather. We look at the star rating distribution. So we notice that more than 100 firms based on the data we scraped. I keep emphasizing on that so that you will not go and make a general conclusion out there that, oh, here in, let's say in the world, that we have only 100 firms that have a star rating of this. No, this is just based on the data we have. So we notice that more than 100 firms have star rating within this bar. 4.85.2. Then we have below 30 firms that have star rating of 0. Then we rarely have firms that have like we hardly see star rating of 1, 2, 3, 4 firms. So you can draw some conclusions from here. I wrote some of them here. Then we went on to look at the review distribution, and we noticed that most firms don't have reviews at all. So we see that more than 50, okay, 52 doesn't have a firm review between 0 and 1. Obviously 0, because this is actually a histogram, so it's showing us in how did you call it, in bars, in ranges, ranges. So also notice that companies that have reviews, let's say greater than 10, are actually few. We can see that just about 2 has 30 reviews. Okay, so we draw that. Then we went on to look at top firms. So like we saw earlier, or it's obvious, some companies have 5-star rating. So if you want to say which are the top 5 companies just on star rating, you might not actually get the better ones. Like you might actually get give out communicate the the accurate result. So here is me bringing in the firm review as another parameter to make the ranking, to rank the firms. So the blue one represents the star rating, and this orange one represents the firm reviews. So SoloLab is the firm that has the highest firm reviews, but all of them have the same star rating. Then we went on to look at another top 5 companies that still have the same 5-star rating, but this time around have higher service percent. So here we decided not to show the service percent. We just focus on we decided not to show the star rating. We focused on the service percent. But then when you are sorting, you must make sure you sort on if that is what you want to do, sort with star rating and service percent first. So here is just the service percent. DataPine is the first firm. It has a service percent of 90, followed by Set2Serve, Digis, and 47 billion. Then this last one was the aim was to count the location frequency. How many companies do we have in a particular location? So we first of all split the location. It gave us a list. So we joined this list together to become one big list. Here's what it gave us. So we noticed that some locations rather have spaces, which resulted in duplicates when we looked at it. So here is me handling that by removing the spaces using the strip method, then putting it in a series, then plotting it visually using a bar chart. Yeah, so that's it. Any question? Yeah, almost done. It's running 8 minutes. Any question?
The countries, could we have, is it also possible to have done them as a data frame, or it's hard to have been as a series only?
Okay, you can, no, not a must, it must be a series. You can change this to a data frame. Where are you? You can change this to a data frame by just creating a data. Obviously, you need to create a new data frame just for this. But then I've gotten what I want, so I can plot that directly from the series. But yes, you can change this to a data frame by creating a new data frame. Any question? Question?
Oh, thank you very much.
Question. Welcome. Question. Anyone has any question? Okay. So I'll just tidy this up and send it to the drive for us. So in the evening, we'll see how we are going to send this project to our GitHub. Alright, so that's it for this first session. See you guys in the second session.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rich, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Richie.